All right, let's get right into it. If you're a writer, you know that feeling, right? You've got this amazing, huge idea for a story, but it's just a total mess in your head. Well, today we are going to break down a really simple, super flexible method inspired by the author Abby Emmons for turning all that chaos into a clear, solid blueprint for your novel.
It's a super common struggle. You've got characters, you've got plot points, scenes, all of it is just swirling around in your brain, but there's no clear path forward. It feels less like a story and more like you're staring at a puzzle, but half the pieces are missing. You just have no idea where to even begin.
So, where on earth do you start? Well, the very first step isn't about structure, it's not about rules. It's actually about embracing that mess and just getting every single thing out of your head and down on the page.
This is what Abby Emmons calls the brain dump, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It does not have to be logical, it doesn't have to make sense, it's just a space for every little thought, every character quirk, every tiny snippet of dialogue you can think of. The goal here is simple: capture everything, and absolutely no judgment allowed.
And this quote right here, this is why the brain dump is so powerful. It totally reframes that mess. It's not a problem anymore, it's pure potential. You're not starting from zero, you've just gathered up all the raw ingredients you need to start cooking up your story.
Okay, so once you have all your ingredients laid out, the next step is to figure out what you're actually going to make with them. This is where we go from that chaos to real clarity by asking four simple but really powerful questions that get right to the heart of your story.
You can think of it like this. You have to sell this story idea to yourself. Why is it so compelling? Why should anyone, including you, care about it? This little mental exercise forces you to zero in on the most exciting and meaningful parts of your whole concept.
And here they are, the four big questions. What's so great about these is that they give you a complete framework. Who digs deep into your character's internal struggles? What makes you nail down your 30-second elevator pitch? How is all about mapping out their transformation. And why? Well, why helps you uncover the theme, that core truth you really want to share with the world.
Now, talking about ideas is great and all, but let's make this really concrete. We're going to use an example that Abby Emmons provides for a sequel with her characters Tessa and Weston. This is going to show us exactly how these questions can build a story right from the ground up.
Okay, so for our first character, Tessa, we're answering that who question. The conflict isn't just that her mom shows up for Christmas. No, it's the internal angst and pain that this creates. Her journey, her how, is tied directly to this conflict. She has to learn how to forgive. See how the internal stuff is what really drives the story? And it's exactly the same for Weston. His conflict is also internal. He's fighting these feelings of not being good enough, the secret fear of losing her. So his journey is all about learning to trust in the love that he already has. When you put these two internal struggles together, you get a story that is so much richer and way more complex.
So, we've got our core conflicts down. Now we're going to move to the final step and see how this all builds into an actual story. This is where we take all those character notes and create a simple but incredibly effective skeleton for the novel using a few key story beats.
Check this out. This timeline takes those character conflicts and slots them right into the classic three-act structure. The inciting incident, Mom arriving, forces Tessa's internal issue right to the surface. The midpoint fight isn't just some random argument. It happens because of both her and Weston's core fears. Every single plot point is driven by their internal journeys, all the way to that climax where both of their conflicts finally get resolved. It's this perfect chain of cause and effect.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Seeing a structure laid out like that can make some writers a little nervous. You hear the word outline and you worry it's going to kill all the magic, all the fun of discovery. But the real beauty of this method is just how flexible it is. And this is the key. This method isn't just for one type of writer. It works for everybody. If you're a pantser, someone who writes by the seat of your pants, this gives you a solid roadmap without spoiling the journey. And if you're a plotter who loves a ton of detail, this is the perfect solid foundation to build on.
Because really, in the end, that's all you need to get started. You don't need some massive 50-page document. You just need one simple, solid guide that tells you where your characters start, where they're going, and most importantly, why it all matters.
And the ultimate payoff here is this. Taking a little time to build this simple foundation is going to save you from massive structural headaches and literally endless rewriting down the line. You're making sure your story has strong bones before you even type chapter 1.
So there you have it. You've gone from total chaos to a clear concept, and from that concept to an actionable blueprint. Now the only question left to answer is, what story are you going to build?